So here is what our Christmas tree looks like.
Perfect.
Look how cute. And now what I'm gonna do, somebody watched me drop a cup and break it the last time. And I mean, for the most part, that is it. And you have your scrap vinyl adhesive cup. Here is the cup. I mean, look how stinking cute. Why is that not focusing? Look at that, guys. Oh my goodness. So we are going to be creating this cup in today's class. I'm going to be teaching you how you can use scrap vinyl to create this effect. And y'all, oh, I can't wait. So to start out with, while we are overhead, let's talk about everything that you are going to need for this project. Obviously, starting out, you are going to need your scrap vinyl. Now, these look like full sheets. We have cut them up, but you are going to grab vinyl that you can cut into 1-inch strips. Scrap vinyl, if you have to grab a regular sheet of vinyl that's not scrap, that's fine to get the right color combination, because y'all know me, color combinations are very, very important. So what we're going to do is you are going to come up with a color combo that you want. We went with this kind of like whimsical color combo. So we have a regular red, we have like a robin's egg blue, a green, a maroon, and an ivory for this project. So grab your vinyl, whatever colors you want to use. We do also have a scrap piece of brown, and that is just for the bottom half of the cup. You see down here the trunk. We cut the trunk out separately just so it could be this color brown. You all can do whatever you would like, but we're going to teach you how to do this. And then you are going to need a paper trimmer, a measuring tape, and this is just to get the measurements of your cup. And then you are going to need a mat, and I would go standard grip, maybe even strong grip for this one, Holly. I do have Holly over here co-hosting for me right now. Say hi, Holly.
Everyone.
Holly's over here in the corner because with us laying these strips of vinyl down, light grip is not going to do it for this project.
No, you definitely need standard.
You definitely need standard or higher. If it is a well-loved standard grip, go get you a new one. Okay? So these are... Oh, and also you're going to need some transfer tape. So paper trimmer, vinyl, standard grip, transfer tape, and of course, whatever cup you plan on using. We are using, I'm going to leave this under here so you can see it. We are using just a glass. This is what they call the beer can glass cups. We are using this today for this project. Also, if you want snowflakes, you will also need some white vinyl. Once again, I'm going to show you how we can save vinyl with this as well. These are all of the supplies that you are going to need for today's project. And before we go into the actual design space portion, I'm going to teach you all and show you how to cut your strips. And this is why it is important that we have a paper trimmer. My mic, again, it's completely out. Oh, I was about to say, I felt like I pulled it all the way out. Hold on, now it's like stuck. Give me just a second, guys, to fix my mic. I want to make sure you all can hear me well. And then we're going to start cutting our paper. So what you are going to want to do is we want all of our strips to be uniform. So we are going to be cutting this each at 1 inch. So I am lining this up here. Let's see. Do I have this backwards? No, I have it right. There we go. We're going to be lining this up right here on the inch mark. And then from there, what you're going to do is you are going to lay this down here. Sorry. Got to lay it down and then line it up so it holds it.
It's a tiny spot.
It is a tiny spot. Once you have it lined up, the key with a good paper trimmer, holding your hand down so that it works, and then we're just going to run that along and we're gonna get 1-inch strips of your vinyl. Super simple. Once again, we're lining this one up on the inch, putting our paper trimmer down. Now, if you don't have a paper trimmer, which some of you may not a big deal. If you do not have a paper trimmer, I would suggest getting a ruler, or this is the Oracal, so it has the marks on the back. StarCraft, these squares are each an inch. So if you, depending on what vinyl you use, like this one, the Avery Dennison, has no grids on the back, okay? StarCraft has grids. Oracal has grids. The StarCraft, if you use StarCraft vinyl, like I said, these grids, these squares are an inch apart, so you could just cut along that. You wouldn't necessarily have to have a paper trimmer. You could cut that way. If your vinyl does not have grids on the back and you don't have a paper trimmer, what I would suggest you doing is getting your measuring tape out, measuring an inch, marking, and then getting a straight edge or a ruler, and then just marking it all the way down and cutting it with scissors. But you can see how much easier it is to cut if you do have a paper trimmer. So once again, we are lining it up here on the inch, laying this down. It does kind of get a little bit fussy there.
Someone asked what our favorite vinyl is. We do like to use StarCraft generally, but we're just using whatever we had extra in our scrap bin.
Yep, trying not to go out and buy any more. We have so much vinyl. And that's what we are doing. We're cutting it into the strips. So you are going to need, I would say, at least 7 to 10 strips, depending on how large your cup is. But once you have all of the strips cut into an inch, then we are ready to go ahead and go over to Design Space, and we will start the designing process to get our cup kind of across the finish line. Actually, before we go there, let's go back to the share screen, because we do need to get the circumference of our cup so that we can create a guide to see how large our design needs to be. So we are looking at, it's actually falling on, it's falling in between 9 1/4 and 9 1/2. So I'm gonna do it at 9 1/4 width, and then our height, we just want to measure where we want it to start and where we want it to stop. So I will do 9 1/2 by, or 9 1/4 by 4 3/4, because right here is the bottom, but I'll know not to go all the way down to 4 3/4. So now, back in Design Space, let's go ahead and get our guide set up, and then we will go get our files. So we're going to come over here to our shapes. We are going to grab our square. This is just, we are creating a guide so that we have we can have the correct sizing. We're gonna unlock that size aspect ratio. I said the width was 9 1/4, which is equivalent to 9.25. And then the height was 4 3/4, which is equivalent to 4.75. So that is how large of an area we have to work with for our cup. I'm going to then come over here to the operations. I'm going to change it from a basic cut to a guide. And here is the guide for how large our cup is. Now, we need to go grab the files, and if you haven't grabbed your files today already, you can do so with the link that Sadie is dropping that has the fire emojis. Make sure you grab your files. So I'm going to go over here to upload. I'm going to upload image, and I'm going to bring my Finder back into view. Now, this is what it is going to look like once you unzip this file. I'll go ahead and change it to icons so that we can see it better. We've already done the Christmas tree treat holder. For this class, we are going to be doing the adhesive vinyl cutout cup. So we're going to open up this folder. The font that we're going to be using today is Hollis. We are going to be taking this Pine Tree SVG, and we're actually going to be excluding the words so that the words you can see through the tree. And that's how the words are on your cup. So you need to make sure that you download your font. How you're going to do that is you're going to double click this font. From there, if it is not installed, you are going to install the font, which ours was not. So I went ahead and installed this font, and I see right here, Hollis is there. After you have done that, we are actually on the upload page for Cricut Design Space. So I'm going to start by dragging and dropping my pine tree here. Oops. We're going to go to continue, upload this onto our canvas, and then we're going to go back to our upload section or upload right here, and we're just going to go ahead and grab those snowflakes. Now the snowflakes are like a little bit extra to have around the whole cup. So we have provided you 2 different snowflakes today. So we're going to do one. We are using the SVG version. Boom. And then back over here to upload image, and we are going to drag in that second snowflake. So now we have, and I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this guy. So now we have all of the pieces that we need for this project. Last thing I'm going to do, I am going to bring in a text box. Let's go over here to our fonts and let's type in Hollis. I bet it's not there because I hadn't downloaded it. Perfect. So if this happens to you and you have downloaded a font and you're like, Lauren, where is the font? I just downloaded it. It's not in Cricut Design Space. Here is what you are going to do. You are going to save the project, okay? So I have made lots of changes to this. I'm going to go ahead and save this project, okay? Once I have saved, I'm going to come up here to View. We are going to reload Design Space. Back to here, we have now reloaded Design Space, and the new font that we uploaded, which was Hollis, should now be in there. Here it's just Cricut Sans, so you could see before that it was not there. But after we reloaded Design Space, we can now go to our, we can now go to our system fonts and we can type in Hollis, and boom, there it is. How stinking awesome is that? So now what we need to do is we need to start designing our cup. So we want our cup to say fa la la la, fa la 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 la. So I'm going to change this color to white so that we can see it better. I'm going to select my text box and I'm just going to type in, not fee, fa. Fa. We're going to size it to fit here. And then I'm just going to duplicate that. I'm going to bring it down here and I'm just going to type in la la. Now this is where you do have to work with your box a little bit. Your the sides right here. And then I'm just going to duplicate again. And I'm going to make sure I have the right amount of fa la 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 la. Okay. The next one is 4 fa la la's. And we may have to even size this down a little bit more to get it to fit. So we're just going to duplicate this guy again. And I am going to have to size it down just a little bit. 2 more la la's. Boom. Okay, so now we are going to have to size everything down. What I want to do first is I'm going to select all of my text boxes here from my layers panel. I'm going to come over here to align. I'm going to center horizontally like this, and I'm going to bring them in here. Now you can, let's just go ahead and group them together real quickly. Just so they don't move individually, and then I'm just going to size down and move it, and I think my spacing might be a little bit off, so let me come back up here and ungroup, and I'm going to move this guy down just a little bit more, and we may have to just make him smaller, like this. Oh, perfect. Now I'm going to work on the rest of my spacing. Another thing you can do If you want your spacing to be perfect, this is another little trick of the trade. Have your top piece set exactly where you want it. Also have your bottom piece set to exactly where you want it. From there, what I like to do is selecting all of these inner pieces. I like to come over here to align, and I like to distribute them, not that way. I always get confused with this, if it's distribute horizontally or vertically. So we're gonna come over here to align and distribute them vertically. And now they are evenly distributed across the board. Although the other little la-la is a little bit, but I'm gonna make this guy bigger. Actually, now that I keep looking at it, I wanna make him bigger. And then since we made that guy bigger, we're gonna go ahead and make our words just a tiny bit bigger. Oh, that looks so much better already. Love that. Okay, now, once you have arranged everything that you want, where you want it on your page or inside your tree. Now remember, these all need to be inside the tree, because what we are doing now is we are going to select, and I'm going to be using my layers panel. Because like I said, I have everything set exactly where I want it. So working from my layers panel, I don't want to move anything. The tree in and of itself is 3 inches by 4 inches for those that are curious. So I'm going to select my tree, and then I'm going to select all of the words that are going to be inside the tree. Once I have done that, and before I do anything else, I'm going to change the background color so that you all can see the magic actually happen. So I've changed the background color. Let's just go ahead and change it to this. We'll do it this color gray. That way you can kind of see it. So we want to be able to see through the tree to the canvas. That's the whole point for this one. We want to see through the tree to the canvas. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to combine, and we are going to subtract. Do you all see what that just did? That is what subtract does. So we'll go back. We're going to select them all. If you subtract, once again, Tanner has been talking about hovering over specific verbiage in Cricut Design Space. If you do not know what it means, subtract removes the bottom object or layer of a selected group of objects and can be applied to multiple at once. So it is subtracting what you are seeing that sits on top. It's subtracting it out of the bottom layer, okay? So when we hit subtract, the words are white, meaning right now the Cricut thinks we're cutting out the words and the tree separate. So let me show you what it would look like. So when we go to the Make It screen on the mat, you can see here we have fa la la all by itself and the tree here. What we want it to do is cut out. So coming back to our canvas, we're selecting all of these, right? We have them all selected from our layers panel. We're going to come down here to combine and subtract. And now when we go to Make It on the mat, we can go to our tree, and that is what it's going to cut out. And that is exactly what you want. Okay? Yes, Jody, I can go over the spacing tip one more time. We're just going to go through here. What you need to do, select, have your first one fixed. Let me just show you with some shapes. Let me just do a circle, because this would be easier to understand, I think. So let's say we have a circle and we have 4 other circles here. So what you can do as far as spacing, let's say you know that you want something to be at the edge of the cup here, and you want it to be at the edge of the cup here, and then you want everything distributed equally at the bottom, okay? So what you need to do, have your first and last one set. We're going to select all of these. This is just what I like to do to quickly align things. I'm going to come up here to align. First thing, if I want them to be in a straight line, I'm going to center them vertically. While they are all still selected, we're going to go to align. and distribute them horizontally. So think about it. If it's up and down, you have to distribute vertically. If it's horizontally along the horizon line, you distribute horizontally. And that is my little hack for you guys to go ahead and distribute things quickly.
Great.
So yes, somebody was saying, why would you not slice, or why would you use subtract versus slice? The reason is because these combine functions, we can still go in there and change it if we want to. So when I hit subtract, you can see that I have subtracted, but when I drop that menu down, I can select each individual layer and I can still move it around. But then when I click off of it, it is still subtracted. That's why I like subtract for some instances over slice. Now, for this bottom piece, I actually want to slice it off because I want it to be cut out of brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to a shape. I'm going to grab a square. I'm going to line it up there along the bottom, and you can even change it to a guide so that you can see exactly what you're cutting. And I can change this background color back to white so you all can see a little bit more. So I am going to slice off the bottom of the tree because I don't want it to be, I want it brown. So I'm turning my square into a guide. I don't know if I'm going to be, oh yes. So with your square, although all of these layers are subtracted, we need to make sure we just select the pine tree and not the subtract function. Okay. This is another little hack because we can only slice 2 layers, which this one, it is calling it multiple layers. So we're going to undo that subtract really quickly. I'm going to grab this square, pine tree, slice, get rid of all of my slice results, and now that is there, but I need to move my tree back behind the fa la la, and then I'm going to have to go back and subtract this back out. Once again, I'll show you what we're doing so that we really understand we're selecting it all, combine, subtract. So now I have and we can change this to brown so that it cuts on a different mat. And this is not necessary. If you don't want to cut the trunk of your tree out of brown, you don't have to. You don't have to. But that's what I'm doing because that's what we want. And now all that is left is we're just pulling in our snowflakes. We're going to size them however large or small that you want. And we're just going to start placing them around the cup. Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be attaching these snowflakes, and let me tell you why. You can if you want to. If you wanted to do a full wrap, and I don't know how this one got behind that tree. Let's just go ahead and, man, these layers. And I know that square is at the back. The square is at the back. Sometimes Design Space really, really just grinds my gears. But that's okay. I still love it. We still love it.
This is gonna be so cute.
I know.
Love this project. There's so many good Design Space hacks and tips here too with the slice, and they're loving the slice and subtract functions.
I mean, y'all know you all know me at this point, and you know that I'm gonna come with the hacks. You know I'm gonna come at you with the hacks. Yeah, I'm just moving things around, duplicating. This is really just for me. Like I said, I'm not going to attach these together, and I'm going to just duplicate a couple extra snowflakes that I may not need because I'm going to manually place these snowflakes. This is the key, in my opinion. If you are not good at full wraps and getting full wraps lined up, don't even try them. If we've got these little tiny pieces, let's just place them ourselves when we get it cut. So this is not a representation of what it's going to look like at the end. This is a representation of how many snowflakes I think I need to fill this cup up. Okay? So now that we have done that, I'm going to hide the guide, and we are ready to start the cutting process. So I'm going to come over here to make it. I'm going to do this on the mat. We're going to go to continue, And look, it even saves vinyl when you do it this way. You can save so much vinyl by just letting these little tiny snowflakes live at the top of the page versus attaching them and creating a full wrap. I just like kind of placing it myself. So what I'm doing now, this is a second mat. I'm going to let the Cricut start cutting my snowflakes while I place the strips of ribbon on this, or strips of vinyl here to cut out the Christmas tree. So I have loaded the white vinyl. We'll go back to our share screen. We're gonna go ahead, before I go to continue, I want to see the area that I have to work with for this Christmas tree. So I have about 4 inches. So I want to line my strips up between the top, and we'll go down to, let's say, 5 or 6 here, just to cover our bases. So then we're gonna go back to our white. We're gonna go to continue. We are using this on premium vinyl removable mat. We are using our fine point blade, and I'm going to place this into our machine, and we're going to let the Cricut start cutting our snowflakes. So now, while that is cutting, we are gonna start placing our strips of vinyl on our mat. Now, you can determine if you want it this way, if you want it diagonal, or if you want it just straight across. I really like the diagonal myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start placing these diagonal pieces along here. And I'm gonna cut this extra off because it's not gonna load into the Cricut if you don't. So I'm just gonna cut that off, and I'm going to get my color combo on the mat. We'll go back and cut all of those here in a second. What do I want next? I think I want white, or this ivory color here. Another key point to this is you need to make sure that they are touching. We do not want a gap. Let's do red here. I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna try my best to not have to cut off that edge. So let's move it right here, like this. Love. Let's do a little maroon strip. I think I want this red right here.
Yeah, love the red.
I love this red and these colors together. And then I'm gonna start back. Oh, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have the white be the middle piece, and then no, then it would have to be blue. I don't know. We're just going like this. I like this color combo right here. I didn't actually use the maroon though. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. So we have these strips. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut this guy off there, and we're just going to do it like this. Now we can still save these strips for another project. If you wanted to line them up, you can still save these. Completely up to you. So we have this on our mat. I am going to come back in here, burnish this down really, really well. And we had someone ask the other day how you can cut multiple colors on one mat. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and place our little brown down here in the corner so that we can cut the tree trunk and the tree on the same mat, and we'll use the same cut settings for all of this, okay? So let's go ahead. I'm gonna unload my mat here. Beautiful. And then I will weed those here in just a second. And what we are gonna do now, we're gonna go back to our share screen, and I'm actually gonna go to cancel the cut, I think. No. Let's go to edit. Yeah, okay. So we are gonna have to cancel the cut because we did go forward. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna move this to this mat. We're gonna place it down here in the corner so it cuts on the brown vinyl. And then I'm going to move this so that it's going to cut right in the middle of all of my strips, okay? So if we wanted to do it like here, we'll get the red, green, and the blue, and the white. We'll just go with it right here. Looks like a good spot. So now we're gonna go to continue. Once again, we're gonna be cutting this on, you can cut it on premium vinyl, permanent glossy, premium vinyl removable matte. One way that you can see what the difference is in those two is if you go to browse all material. Once again, I'm coming in with a hack for you guys. If you didn't know how to do this, this is one of my favorite things to do. Go to material settings, and then if we scroll down to permanent vinyl, permanent, where's it at? Printable, I bet premium, plastic, what is it called? Premium vinyl. I'm a doofus. It's not permanent, it's premium. Material settings, scroll down to premium. Premium vinyl, removable matte is cut on a pressure of 121. And premium vinyl permanent glossy is cut on a pressure of 120. So it's literally one difference. So it really doesn't matter. Yeah. So we'll go with this one, why not? Gonna go ahead, load it into our machine. And while that is cutting, we will go back overhead. This is a great example, these little tiny pieces of why you may want to burnish again before weeding is because there were little tiny pieces of these snowflakes that got kind of like disrupted when we were cutting. So I want to place them back down on the carrier sheet before I go to weed so that it is easier and it doesn't pull up the snowflakes. See, look how much better. Now, these are gonna be a little bit tricky, these little tiny guys. But what I'm gonna do, we'll hold this corner down. And this is what I mean the other day by, I like to weed when it is in my favor, but when it is not in my favor, it really can tick me off. And this is one where it's not really in my favor. These are some little beady cuts, but buddy, our Cricut cut it, those intricate cuts.
Mm-hmm. So you're basically making like little tiny stickers.
Yeah. Okay, let's get this weeded here. Also, y'all, don't come at me for weeding with a true control knife. I always hear, what are you doing? Sometimes I just weed with whatever is in my hand, and the true control knife was there. So sorry. Once again, do as I say, not as I do. I can be a crazy girl sometimes.
We love it.
Okay. I'm really trying, guys. I think this is my last one. Yeah, it is. Beautiful. Okay. Laying that back down. So there are all of our snowflakes that I will place individually on our cup here in just a minute. We'll go ahead and get this off the mat. Move this over here. And here is our design. Now we did have one little tiny piece right here that we need, kind of got moved, so we're just gonna move that guy back in place. Once again, oh, we lost like the tiniest bit of blue here. Oh, it goes, we don't need it anyway. We don't need it anyway. Okay, before I weed this, I'm gonna burnish this back down, okay? I'm going to cut around the tree, not into the tree. Guys, I did kind of cut a little bit into the tree, but it's okay. Sorry, I'm moving my head. So I'm using my tree control knife and I'm cutting all of the strips around the tree because this is one that you have to weed on the mat. You have to weed this on the mat. You can't take this off and weed this another time because we have to weed each individual strip that is around the tree. So, see how I am?
It's very satisfying to watch.
It is so sad. So I only got 4 colors on this one, which is fine. Okay, so there is that. Now I'm not gonna try to weed the letters. I'm gonna pull out my pen tool, guys. And we're gonna weed these letters out. Leaving the middles. This is kind of like a reverse weeding. Now, where did that A go? It went somewhere. I don't need it, but I don't want it on my design. So, oh, wait. Did y'all see it? It's on my tree control, or on my pen tool. Eep. Now, this is a little bit more of a labor of love than just a regular adhesive vinyl project, but I kind of love that about it. It does kind of make you think. Now we did cut ours at 1 inch. If you wanted to have more of a variation of color, you could cut the strips into thinner strips. You don't have to do 1 inch. You could do a 1/2 inch. Would probably be good. Do y'all see where I almost accidentally cut into the tree right here?
Was close.
I didn't. I stopped myself, so I didn't do it. Okay. We also need to get rid of this guy. Beautiful. So here is what our Christmas tree looks like.
Perfect.
Yay! And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out my trunk here away from this brown vinyl. We're going to flip her over and go with gravity. So much easier. Weed out the outside of our trunk. So there is our trunk.
Yep.
And now we are ready to grab some transfer tape. And we're going to lay our transfer tape down on our tree first. And then I'm going to pick up the trunk and we're going to place it on our cup, which we are going to clean with rubbing alcohol this time, guys. I'm not going to forget it. I swear. So, transfer tape down. Burnish really, really well. Make sure you get those inside letters of the A for show.
Cassandra asked how you slice the trunk, but you might have to unsubtract, undo your subtract, and then slice the trunk, and then redo the subtract with all of the words
Yeah,
and the tree.
I really should have sliced the trunk of the tree out first before subtracting. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I do have a random piece of vinyl right here. White vinyl that I don't really know what it's from. We're going to get rid of that guy. Look how cute. And now what I'm going to do, while this is still on the mat, I'm going to line up my trunk. I'm just going to use my fingernail to kind of burnish that down because I don't want to like lay it down on the mat and lose my vinyl. And now I have the trunk. Okay? This is where it would be a good idea to clean up your space. You got a clear box over there for me to just dump everything?
Oh yeah. Can use this.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna clean up our space. I'm just gonna dump all my scraps into a empty box here that I don't need. And we'll go through our scraps here in just a minute. Okay. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to lay this kind of over to the side. I'm going to hang it off of the edge of my table. And I'm going to bring my cup here. I'm going to grab my pump alcohol bottle. I'm going to grab a paper towel. We're going to clean our glass. Look at me, y'all. Look, I'm cleaning the glass. Cleaning my surface.
That little scraper is the best tool for keeping cups still too.
Oh yeah, yes. Using this scraper tool to keep these cups still. I mean, they're not going anywhere. And then we are going to come in here. We're going to have to make sure that it dries. Let me wipe this down. It's not like dry all the way. Dry that off. We'll come back in. Taco method. I also like going from the center, working my way out. Like this. Making sure it adheres down really well. And then
they said, don't drop this one.
Oh, who saw me drop the last one? Somebody watched me drop a cup and break it the last time. Y'all sneaky. I was trying not to tell people that. I was trying not to tell
you out.
Lindsay said, test and fate, tapping that glass. Mm-hmm.
Can you show what you laid the cup on again?
Yeah. Right there. It is a burnishing tool. You can get these on Amazon. These are Makers Gonna Learn branded burnishing tools. And we have our tree. Now that is left for us to do is add our snowflakes. So what I'm going to do, still using the same transfer tape, I'm just going to start picking these snowflakes up one at a time and then placing them on my cup where I see that they need it. And that, my friends, is how your girl Lauren likes to do a full wrap, if we're being honest. I just like picking up these little pieces, looking at it and being like, you know what? That looks like a good place for a snowflake.
Eyeball it. Love it.
Eyeballer to my, well, no, I lied. I'm not an eyeballer to my core. I like numbers. So I like for my numbers to be exact. But when I go into design, I don't like for my designs to be equally proportionate. Mm. Ain't that so weird? I like for my measurements to be perfect, but when I'm eyeballing, when I'm actually designing something, if it ain't, I don't like it symmetrical.
Yeah.
I'm not a symmetrical person.
Kind of naturally.
Yeah.
Lays where it wants.
So we're just going to keep on working around the cup.
This would be a great gift for someone.
Oh, yes. Such a good, imagine this. Holly was a teacher. What if you got something like this and the treat holder as a Christmas gift from one of your students?
Oh, I would love it. That would be perfect. With so much thought put into it, too, to spend time making something.
Uh-huh. And that's it. You're just going to keep on working your way around and adding in your snowflakes.
My students loved to give me candy too, so you could fill that up with candy.
Oh yeah, girl.
They just wanted me to share the candy most of the time.
Oh really? Yeah, that's so they just really wanted to give you candy so that they could also have some candy. I mean, fair.
It was sweet, anyways.
And I mean, for the most part, that is it. And you have your scrap vinyl adhesive cup. I mean, what do you guys think? Don't you love it?
Love it.
I am obsessed. I think it is so stinking cute.